Action. Action games are built around speed, reflexes, and split-second decisions. The player moves through physical challenges, combat, chases, obstacles, where success depends on timing and coordination rather than careful planning. The roots go back to the early arcade era, when titles like Space Invaders and later Contra demanded fast reactions to survive whatever appeared on screen. What sets action apart from other genres is its refusal to let the player rest. There's rarely a quiet moment to sit back and think things through. Over the decades, the genre stretched in many directions, blending with shooting, platforming, and hand-to-hand combat. Yet the core idea never changed: keep the hands busy and the pulse up. Its lasting appeal comes from how easy it is to pick up, even while still offering real depth for players chasing mastery. Adventure. Adventure games are centered on exploration and storytelling, guiding players through a world where discovery and puzzle-solving drive progress forward. The genre began in the 1970s with text-based experiences like Colossal Cave Adventure, where players typed commands to navigate hidden rooms and passages. As computers grew more capable, adventure games shifted toward visuals, giving rise to point-and-click classics that let players click through richly illustrated scenes. What separates adventure from faster-paced genres is its patience. There's little reward for rushing, and every puzzle acts as a gate holding back the next piece of the story. Because of this focus on narrative and atmosphere, adventure games helped shape how games tell layered stories, influencing everything from horror titles to today's narrative-driven experiences. Role-playing. Role-playing games, often shortened to RPGs, let players build and grow a character over time, shaping their skills, choices, and story through the course of the game. The genre traces back to tabletop games like Dungeons & Dragons, where players imagined characters and outcomes through dice rolls and shared storytelling. That structure eventually made its way onto computers through titles like Ultima and later Final Fantasy, translating character growth into stats, levels, and branching quests. What makes RPGs distinct is the sense of progression. A character who starts weak can become powerful through hours of decisions and battles. This focus on long-term investment is part of why the genre has such devoted followings, since players aren't just playing a game, they're watching a character become their own. Shooter. Shooter games center on ranged combat, where success depends on aim, timing, and reading the battlefield around you. The genre stretches back to Wolfenstein 3D, which placed players inside fast corridors and had them fight through waves of enemies, and it was pushed further by Doom, whose speed and multiplayer modes helped set the standard for years afterward. Not every shooter unfolds through the character's own eyes, though. Third-person shooters like Gears of War pulled the camera back, letting players see their character while still keeping ranged combat at the center of the experience. What ties the genre together is its focus on precision under pressure, since a single misjudged shot can turn an encounter the wrong way. Because aiming and reaction time matter so much, shooters have become a mainstay of competitive and online gaming, rewarding players who can stay calm and accurate when things get chaotic. Strategy. Strategy games ask players to think ahead, manage resources, and outmaneuver opponents through planning rather than reflexes. The genre draws inspiration from centuries-old games like chess, where every move carries consequences down the line. On computers, this evolved into two major branches: turn-based strategy, seen in games like Civilization, and real-time strategy, popularized by Dune 2, where decisions unfold continuously rather than in neat turns. What makes strategy distinct is the weight given to foresight. A single misstep in resource allocation or troop positioning can unravel an entire plan. Because it rewards patience and calculation over speed, the genre tends to attract players who enjoy puzzles on a grand scale, where the battlefield or empire itself becomes the puzzle. Simulation. Simulation games aim to recreate real or imagined systems, letting players manage, build, or operate something that mirrors how it might work in reality. Early examples like flight simulators, tried to copy the actual controls of an aircraft, while later titles such as SimCity turned entire urban planning into a game. What defines this genre is its attention to process over spectacle. There's often no clear finish line, just ongoing management and cause and effect. The Sims took this further by simulating everyday human life, from relationships to careers, showing how flexible the concept could become. Simulation games matter because they turn complex, sometimes mundane systems into something engaging, letting players experiment with situations they'd rarely get to control in real life. Sports. Sports games recreate real-world athletic competitions, letting players step into the role of athletes, teams, or entire leagues. The genre started simply, with early titles like Pong essentially simulating a game of table tennis through 2 paddles and a ball. As technology advanced, sports games grew far more detailed, with franchises like FIFA and Madden replicating real players, stadiums, and even broadcast-style commentary. What separates sports games from other genres is their grounding in familiar, real-world rules. Players already understand the objective before they even pick up the controller. This familiarity is part of what keeps the genre so popular year after year, since new releases often just refine and update a formula millions of people already know and follow. Racing. Racing games put players behind the wheel, competing against opponents or the clock across tracks, streets, or open terrain. The genre has arcade roots stretching back to titles like Pole Position, which captured the thrill of speed using simple but effective visual tricks. From there, it split into different styles. Some focused on strict realism with accurate physics and licensed cars, others leaning into arcade fun with power-ups and impossible stunts. What makes racing games stand out is their direct, immediate feedback. Every turn and every second matters, and improvement is easy to measure through lap times. This instant sense of progress is a big reason the genre has stayed popular, offering a satisfying loop of practice and payoff. Puzzle. Puzzle games challenge the mind rather than the reflexes, asking players to solve problems using logic, pattern recognition, or spatial thinking. Tetris, released in the 1980s, became one of the clearest examples of how a simple concept, fitting falling blocks together, could turn into something endlessly replayable. What defines the genre is its focus on mental effort over action. There's usually no combat, no story to follow, just a problem waiting to be solved. Because puzzles can be built from almost any concept, from matching colors to navigating mazes, the genre has taken countless shapes over the years. Its wide appeal comes from accessibility, since puzzle games often require no special skill to begin, only patience and a willingness to think. Platformer. Platformer games involve guiding a character across a series of platforms, gaps, and obstacles, usually through jumping and precise movement. The genre gained early popularity with Donkey Kong, where players had to climb and dodge obstacles to reach a goal. And it was cemented by Super Mario Bros., which refined jumping into an art form. What separates platformers from other action-based genres is their focus on spatial timing. Success depends on judging distances and heights correctly, not on combat or strategy. Over time, the genre expanded from simple side-scrolling stages into vast 3D worlds, while still keeping that same core challenge of movement and precision. Platformers remain important because they help define what it feels like to control a character in space, a foundation many other genres still build on.